Okay, hi everybody. Here's another one that I'm working on. So you can see here's the flower that's not done. And what I did here was I did a loose painting with no lines, and then I came back and drew some lines in on top of it. Same thing here. So you could see what I'm working with here. I'm using the same identical colors. So here's our previous project. And I don't know if you could see on the video or not, there's some little swirls of masking in here. So I just thought I would do that, just have a little fun with it. Okay, so I've pretty much done this, I need a different brush. Okay, I've pretty much done this flower, more or less. However, I might want a few extra dark places in here. And the way I'm going to get those is I'm going to use Quin Violet. Just put some right here. I think this is mostly Quin Violet that's dried there, but I don't know exactly what kind of shape it's in. Okay, so the thing about Quin Violet, when you put a violet over yellow, you're going to dull it. Quin Violet's pretty strong. It does some really nice things. Okay, so I may just deepen a few areas just because I want a little bit of extra dark in here. And I might soften a couple of edges. It just depends. I don't want to thin it out all over everywhere because that will just dull my yellows. What I'm using it for here is just to get an extra dark to make the picture pop a little bit more. So I'm taking this little brush and I'm just barely softening the edges of it. See, I don't want it bleeding all the way out here and dulling my color. So I'm not going to put it, I'm not like going to go around and put it everywhere. Just on a few of these spots that I want to put some extra emphasis on. If you put it everywhere, it's probably not as effective. Now let's go back to the leaves. And I'm using this brush. This is just a big round. I think it's a 12. It's the Black Velvets. And so we have our we have our Quin Violet. And with that, I'm still using, well, some of you don't know what I'm still using, but on this series, I've been using 4 colors. I've been using New Gamboge, Quin Gold, Quin Violet, and Cerulean. Here's my Cerulean. This is Daniel Smith's Cerulean. So I've got some leaves drawn in here. Oh, and then I was going to go ahead and fill this bottom part out too. Let's just do a little of that. Then I'll have to get it dry. It just almost looks like it's got some yellow mixed into it. It's a browny gray. I didn't really want it to do that. There. Still looks dull. And when I look at my water over here, I know why it's so dull. That's too much color. We're just gonna spread this around so the swirly things will show. And I'll drop in a little bit of new gamboge. See, as soon as I find it. There we go. Oh, there's a lot of new gamboge. Remember, you don't want your new gamboge to be strong, and particularly when you're mixing it with cerulean, because this is a reddish yellow. I just wanted to make a little something happen here. I'm not getting it. I don't want to get it right there. Oh, well, I don't like that either. Let's tilt it. Let's tilt it and let it run a little bit. Do a couple of things that way. Okay. I kind of wanted to make this spot up here show up too. That's where I've got some more masking on here. So I think I will just deepen the background behind here. I still got some yellow green and some green in my brush from the two colors mixing together. There. See, that's nice. I want to mostly keep this paint flowing off the end of the brush. So see, I got that area is a little darker. The background isn't even everywhere. And I don't want the background to be even everywhere. I think I'd like a little more yellow in this. I think I'd like to have that greenish cast. So I just drop a little bit. And this is an even overall wash, which is not my favorite thing. I really like what happened up here better. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. Well, this is kind of off balance. This violet right here is standing out by itself. I'm just going to pull a little violet over into here. And notice how these bits of masking, because they're raised, tend to trap color in some places, which might be interesting. That's too wet to splatter, I think. I would like some bit of texture going on down here. Maybe I'll come back and splatter it in about 30 seconds. Okay, here we are back. I forgot to come back and splatter this. So that's what happens when you go off and leave it. All right, so now let's paint in some leaves. And I'm just going to start with my cerulean. And I don't know if you can see my marks here, but I've got some drawn in. And if I leave a few twinkles in here, so much the better. We're going to have a few twinkles anyway, because we're going to have these masked swirls in it. So you can see that, again, that my paint is very wet, just flowing off the end of the brush. There. Okay, so now what do we do? Well, this could be kind of boring like that. So let's add some other color. I'll just pick up a different brush, just because. So I find that my Quin Violet looks really good in here. Oh, that's nice. I wonder, I don't want to depend on too much of it, but maybe I'll go for just a little bit more here. I think I'll stop right there. And then I might add a little bit again of the New Gamboge down at the other end. For the most part, I'm avoiding letting the purple and the yellow interact much because they will dull each other. So let's stay with that for now. I have another leaf in here. Just now found it. It's right here. Goes in behind this petal. And I rearranged the petals. So, I mean, not petals, the leaves. I've rearranged the leaves to be where I think they need to be. Because they're kind of a dark, strong statement that makes other things stand out. That could be a petal there. Should we make it a petal or, you know what, I'm not. I'm going to make that a part of the stem, or that little, well, that little back end of the flower that's kind of thick. Can't think of what to call it. Someone knows what you call those. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and make this leaf. For right now, I'm treating them all like this is one shape. See how it's all attached, and it's all the same value. In fact, it's the same color too. There. Okay, now what are we going to do with that? Well, you know, I like that purple there. I'm calling it purple. It's Quin Violet. I'm going to pull a little of that in right here. And I'm still connecting the leaf. And then maybe a little bit of the yellow here. Over there and down this way. Now that needs to go in while that's really wet. Kind of want a soft edge on that purple. Okay. Oh. Well, gee. You know, this needs something more happening here and maybe something down here. Maybe we ought to draw in a couple more leaves. Let's do that. Here's my lovely flower model. And I suppose there could be a leaf coming from over this way. And I know you can't see what I'm doing. There's a stem. There's a piece of the middle. Here's the center of the leaf coming down this way. And it's foreshortened right here. Back then it's actually doing that. And here's the other part. Oh my, this is gonna come over here and, is it gonna touch that? Well, I guess it just did. All right. There's a leaf, and we'll just make a little bit of a leaf poking up here. There. Because I just think it needs it. You don't always have to do what's there. I have some people that really have to fight with that. Because, you know, it's sort of, I could have erased that stem line there. Oh, we'll just let these run into each other while it's still wet. Yeah, I'm kind of composing this as I go. That's kind of fun sometimes. If it's all already decided, I like to make my decisions while I'm painting. And I know that's not always the best plan. Sometimes you need a good plan. But you need to remain flexible and willing to let things happen. I don't know if I like that leaf that much. Okay. We'll put this one in up here. Again, my paint is pretty wet here. So this one down here is not drying yet. It's still shiny. Might have been better to do one leaf at a time. I like to live dangerously. Boy, it makes these leaves a lot more interesting when you have that bit of other color in there, doesn't it? But see, if you had it spread out evenly all over, that would be on the boring side. Where these two leaves connected, see there was some yellow there. I think I'm going to pull a little yellow into this side of this one. I just think it's interesting that it kind of turns, even though you can see it's two different leaves, it kind of turns it into one shape. And of course, I can come back later and separate them and put one behind the other, but I think I'll not do that here. Let's pull this up a little bit. It's bunching up around the edge. All right. We're getting real close to the end of this. Until one decides to do something else. What about a few spatters? What about a few kind of greenish splatters? I don't really want them on the flower. That could be nice. Now, the thing is, there's also going to be these swirls when it's pulled up. And so I don't really want to overdo the spatters because I'm going to have something else happening in here too. I'll just kind of cover up part of the flower. And then the other thing I like to do with splatters sometimes is break them up a little bit. So that's just water I'm splattering on here. And sometimes it hits a splatter. Sometimes it hits something else. Oh, my. Okay. Let's go off and leave this. You know what? I think I want that to soften right there. See, this is partway dried. So even though I'm adding water there, it's not going to totally lose its edge. I think I'll just do that. I don't know why I wanted to do that. Let's put a little more of the green right here too. There. Okay. Now it's time to, no, it's not time to leave it. That spot's too dark up here. Oh. Now they're perfect. Those little bitty dark ones, I'll leave those. Down here, I think we can keep these. Okay, back in a bit. Okay, so what are we going to do next? Let's put some centers in these leaves. So we'll just mix a little bit of this with a little bit of that. Just kind of gray it up a little bit. Let's see. Maybe there. Let's see how that looks. So I'm looking at what these leaves look like again. And again, the unrule is that you don't want a solid line going down there, and you don't want it to be a consistent thickness either. Okay, so something like that. Let's break it up a little bit. Sometimes it's a good idea to let it set, you know, a minute or so. That's about what I wanted right there. Okay. Oops. That was too juicy. I had too much water in my brush when I dipped it in the paint. Let that be a lesson to you. Don't do that. You don't want to overdo this. I'll just put that stem back behind there, and a lot of the time I like to put a little bit of water at the end of a line. I think I'll leave that like that. What about over here? That's pretty dark. Now I thought I might make this leaf come out in front of the stem. Oh, we need a bit of shadow there, and then we can fade it out. And let's put a little bit of shadow right here. Well, this is all working out rather well. This one's upside down. Again, still doesn't look right till you drop a little water in. Break it up. That just works like, that's just a magic trick. Okay. Yeah, and these two, I think I'll just leave them joined like that. Siamese leaves. Okay, so the next thing I got to do is dry. Okay, so I think I'm going to put a little bit of shadow in here. I'll just use some more of whatever I've got there. It's kind of a gray. And maybe I could have just used the purple. Purple. It's not purple, it's violet. A little more violet in there. Again, a little more violet. Right on this side of that dividing line. I think we need a little at the top here too. And then we can just drop a little water in and soften the edge. See, here's the thing. A lot of the time you want a carefully softened edge. But on these, you can really have a kind of a messy one. And it works. Okay, so I'm off to dry, and then we're going to pull up the masking and come back and look at it. Well, I really like the little thing. I'm having a lot of fun doing these. Now, the thing is, if for some reason you don't like your work, and this could apply to a whole lot of pieces, especially where you're kind of pushing the envelope on what you think will work or what you're capable of doing, capable at this time of doing, consider cropping. you might, okay, let's say that you don't like this top. Actually, I'm going to leave that top just like that with the pencil lines and everything. And it kind of fades out, but there's a little bit of pencil line there just to suggest an edge. I like that. I want to leave that. But let's just say that you don't like that area. Try cropping different ways. You know, a lot of the time there's some great paintings within a larger painting. Or look at this. If you know anyone who still reads books, look at the great bookmarks you could get out of this. Look at that. Wouldn't that be cool? That'd make a great little gift, wouldn't it? Even over here makes a great looking bookmark. It's not very suitable as a painting, but it makes a great bookmark. What's this down here? Well, this could be something that collages into something else. If you got good color, and I think that this is wonderful color, you know, you could use these pieces on something else. The other thing is you can cut it up and rearrange it a little bit. Could be really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this and make bookmarks out of it. But after I cut it up as bookmarks, I'm going to slide it around different ways and put it on a video again. So this is the end. Yeah, we did this. It was pretty easy, wasn't it? Bye.